All right, hello and welcome to another Peace Exchange Studio. I am Summer Lewis, Rotary Peace Fellow, and I am here with Dr. Mary Clark. And we'd like to talk a little bit about the Carter Center collaboration with Rotary. Before we get to that, tell us about yourself, please.
I am the president-elect for the Rotary Club of Washington Global, which is an e-club in the Washington, D.C. area. I'm also chair of the District Peace Committee for District 7620, and I'm an affiliate of the Carter School for Peace and Conflict Resolution, which is part of George Mason University in Arlington, Virginia.
Excellent, excellent. Tell me a bit more about the Carter Center collaboration. I don't know a lot about it, but I know it's pretty amazing and that it's with Rotary. So please share more with us about that.
Well, it goes back to my late husband, David Fishman, who was very dedicated to peace, and he found Rotary very late, but he realized Rotary had this incredible network of peace and trust and social interaction that would be just what's needed for peace, but the Rotarians didn't have the skills to really promote peace in a sustainable way. Most of them, they're people like you who are Peace Fellows, were very special in the whole sea of Rotarians. And many Peace Fellows, he learned, didn't come back and participate in Rotary. And he also found the Carter School for Peace and Conflict Resolution, and he brought together Rotarians and the Carter School people. Initially, they were very reluctant. Both groups said, why should I work with these people? But eventually, it worked out that they began to recognize the dynamics of it, that it could be very good. And we actually funded a study and some workshops, because at that point my late husband had been diagnosed with terminal pancreatic cancer, and we really wanted to make his dream come true. So we had our first session. This is a picture of the group for the point of view at the Carter School.
Okay.
They have a peace conference area, and we had people like Al Jubitz, who's the founder of this wonderful park, and Peter Kyle, who was the dean for the UN representatives, and many other people brainstorming about how this partnership could work. At the moment, the partnership is really working at the district level,
Okay.
because that's where the action is. And so we are working very closely with my district, District 7620, and with District 7610. The two districts have been working together quite a bit.
Okay, okay.
One of the things that we really want to do from the Carter School perspective is reach out to Peace Fellows. From what I've learned in my short time as a Rotarian is there's this wonderful set of expertise out there, but they get the training and then they are launched into the world, but there's no help. And the Carter School is setting up this really fantastic platform, an action platform that will be to pull together peace builders, and they very much want to reach out to Peace Fellows,
Okay.
especially to the Peace Fellows Association. So I think there's just a wonderful opportunity to connect Peace Fellows with the Carter School alumni who are all over the world. It's a very international program.
So to me, it sounds a bit like this could be potentially very complementary to the work that the Rotary Peace Centers do, providing fellowships in specific universities around the world. That the Carter School is its own entity, its own university, but is looking for ways to connect with Peace Fellows that have been trained at a Rotary Peace Center. Am I correct on that?
Yes, in fact, they can pick up where the Peace Centers stop.
Once an alumni has graduated?
Right.
Okay.
Once they're launched into the world, then this is another home where they could connect with other peace builders and go reach out to Rotarians, but also reach out to other peace builders.
Okay.
So that it'll be really an extensive network and a good home, and ideally a place where Peace Fellows can find potential employment as well as resources for projects if they're working on a project with a Rotary Club or with some other organization.
Okay, so it sounds like a really strong kind of network connector program that you're developing. What stage is it at? Or
Well,
if a Peace Fellow listens to this and says, I want to get involved, how would they go about doing that?
right now, um, they're still building the platform and
Okay.
getting the resources so that it will be publicly available. But that hopefully they'll be launching sometime by sometime in the fall, if all goes as planned. And I'd be really interested in what your perspective as a Peace Fellow would be in how this platform could be useful to you and other Peace Fellows.
Oh, wow. So I studied at the University of Queensland 2011, 2012. So I've been a Peace Fellow for some time or been an alumni for some
Yes.
time. And over the years have done a number of different things, have worked mostly in community economic development. I did also work with Rotary International for 8 years, managing a partnership between Rotary and the Institute for Economics and Peace. And at the moment, I'm doing quite a bit of work with the Rotary Peace Fellowship Alumni Association that's here in the Peace Park in
Yes.
Taipei. One thing I can say as an alumni, and perhaps this is just very contextual and historical, we are passing a very difficult moment right now. For anyone working in peace and conflict resolution, there are many difficult moments over history based on conflict and war in the world, but I would say now is particularly challenging based on some geopolitical changes that have been happening. We've seen a lot of changes at I'll just say at a US level with USAID, changes in the international development realm that have affected me, they've affected many other Peace Fellows and peace builders more generally. There's a lot of Peace Fellows looking for work. There's plenty of work, let's put it that way. There's plenty of conflict, if you will, unfortunately, but looking for meaningful work that perhaps pays and provides for them.
Yes.
That's where I think the challenge has been, is making that connection. The work is there, but finding an organization or a job itself, and I'm just speaking for myself, so I'm not presenting any official perspective here, but just me as Summer Lewis.
Hmm.
I think that there are Peace Fellows who are struggling, and I think they are really, really looking to network and to find meaningful work in the world. So a platform like this, or a way of connecting, which I will say that, there's 1,800 plus alumni in the world. There's so many ways for us to connect through Rotary, through the Rotary Peace Fellowship, Alumni Association, but there's always room for more network tools. There's more room for networking. There's plenty of room for that. So I could see something like this. We were talking yesterday, and I thought, I'd like to hear more about this, and I do think it would be of interest to Peace Fellows.
And the good thing about this network is it's not just a database. There are actually faculty who will be serving as mentors, faculty and very skilled graduate students. I've been very impressed with their graduate students. And so it will be like an interactive platform to help connect people with resources. And there's a lot of information from the Better Evidence Project, which has about 2,000 good practice cases in peace building and also tools for peace building. That a whole range of tools. The Carter School has several different centers that for peace building, ranging from peace engineering, very high-tech type things, to the Urban Conflict Center, which actually another Peace Fellow runs, Arthur Romano, who unfortunately couldn't be here, but he's just absolutely brilliant, and the Carter School is very happy that he found the Carter School because he founded the program there in preventing conflict in urban areas and has done some very creative work. So it's definitely a good home for in the Carter School for peace-minded people, particularly Peace Fellows. And I know Arthur would welcome more Peace Fellows
Exactly.
in the area.
I don't know if we'll share this with Arthur, but I know Arthur. Hello, Arthur.
Hopefully, yes.
Wonderful work that he's doing.
Yes.
So it sounds to me, what's exciting about this is it sounds like it's an initiative that brings together practitioners, so practice and projects, so action, but also academics.
Yes.
And so can you tell me a little more about that? You mentioned the database and Better Evidence Project. Tell me a little more about the academics behind this platform and this initiative.
Well, there have been several key faculty members who've been involved in the collaboration. One of them is Jeff Helsing, who is the head of the Better Evidence Project, which he had hoped Rotarians would be sharing their good practices, but thus far that hasn't happened. So we need to do outreach because this is a resource for everyone who's a peace builder. And there are a lot of resources on that network already, and you can access it just by Googling the Carter School for Peace and Conflict Resolution and going to the Better Evidence Project.
Okay.
But the faculty are very action-oriented. That's what attracted David, my late husband, because they aren't just doing theory. They're really going out there, taking their graduate students to places in Central Asia, Sudan, other places where there's genuine conflict, to actually practice what they've been learning in their programs, and within the United States as well, with the kind of work that Arthur's been doing. Although his work isn't limited to the U.S., he's also taking his models for preventing conflict in cities to apply, adapt to other cultures.
Okay. So what would be one way if someone's listening to this and they're a Rotarian working on a project and they're interested in getting involved with this or accessing this Better Evidence database, how would they go about doing that?
The best thing would be to first take a look at it on the website, the Carter School for Peace and Conflict Resolution, and here's a QR code.
Perfect. We
So
can also link this in the video, in
Yes.
the YouTube video.
So, and also reach out to Jeff Helsing.
Okay.
Jeff Helsing is he's been very, very supportive of the collaboration. He's led some training of Rotarians, of Rotaractors, of Interactors, but there are other faculty as well who are very much engaged in, there's the Sustainable Peace Hub, there's there's Arthur's Urban Conflict Hub, there's also the engineering, AI kind of part of it. So there are a lot of different aspects that are covered within the school, and they have a network as well of about 7,000 alumni, and I would love to see Peace Fellows connected with the Carter School alumni. I think it would be very dynamic, and I'm sure there must be Peace Fellows and Carter School alumni that are probably in the same countries that could be working
very
together.
likely, very
Yes.
likely.
Yeah, so there are a lot of possibilities. I'm a firm believer in networking because we can only go so far with a little project here and a little project there. If we come together, we can really do so much more, and we need to do it in the world today. My late husband always said, peace is possible, but we have to do something about it. So that's kind of where we're going with the collaboration, and we really hope, working with the Peace Fellows and working hopefully with other districts, that we can expand what can be done in the peace arena.
Excellent, excellent. Well, it makes complete sense. Rotary is such a big network globally. I often also say it's a network of networks.
Yes, yes.
In being a Rotarian or Rotary Peace Fellow, you're part of the Rotary family, you're automatically connected, but then within the organization, there are different areas of interest, areas of focus, there's different areas that people work in, they connect in different ways, but it really is an automatic connection.
Yes.
So it's really beautiful to see the ways that you're looking to expand this network and strengthen it. It makes me think about John Paul Lederach, one of the eminent peace scholars out there, who talks about the web and how important the web of peace builders and people working on peace are.
Yes.
That idea of that, all those connections and the strength that a web offers
Yes.
when people are connecting with each other. So it sounds to me like you're really doing a part to create and strengthen that web.
Yes, and give the kind of expert, first-class theory and practice expertise at the fingertips of Rotarians who aren't Peace Fellows, as well as anything that might help Peace Fellows amplify what they're able to do based on the training.
Excellent, excellent. Well, this is going to be great. We'll share some links in the YouTube video once we get that uploaded and ways of contacting. But before we end, I want to kind of take a step back and look at the bigger picture. You're clearly very passionate about Rotary Peace Fellows
Yes.
and the Rotary Peace Centers. Can you share a little more with me before we go today? Why is that?
Well, the real inspiration was my husband. I mean, I'm an anthropologist, and so I've always been very attracted to work that is intercultural. And that's why I worked in international development for 40 years, working on gender and social inclusion. And I see now that Rotary is the place for me, and I see the Peace Fellows as such a resource that's not being tapped, that I feel like I really want to do something about it. For example, we have this wonderful Peace Fellow in our area, Push P. Wirakun. She received the award last year in Calgary for service above self, and she's now in our area, and I'm working very hard to make sure that she gets a good position so that her talents can be appreciated. She helped us in the training that we did for Rotaractors in the fall. We have a Peace Fellow in my Rotary Club, Carlos Guiza. He's fantastic, and he's leading the collaboration that we're doing in Colombia. So we have, I have such respect for Peace Fellows and what they bring that I just really want to do whatever I can. And then there's Diego, of course, the wonderful cellist who is here at the convention, who visited us at the Carter School and gave a wonderful performance. All these Peace Fellows, with all the creativity and skills that they have to offer, there just has to be more opportunity for them to launch those skills in significant ways. So I hope that I can help by making this connection with the Carter School.
Well, I can say as a Peace Fellow, it is incredibly important and incredibly valuable to have the support of Rotarians like yourself. Over my years as a Peace Fellow, I've met so many Rotarians that I'm still connected with that are so supportive. It's kind of almost like mini partnerships, if you will,
Yes.
Rotary Peace Fellows and Rotarians,
Mhm.
but it's beautiful to see a platform and a space created to kind of formalize those sorts of relationships.
Yes.
I
Great.
can say it's a very mutual connection and a
Absolutely.
mutual relationship.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So before we go today, we've got a few minutes left. Do you have anything else you want to add? Anything else we missed? Anything people need to know?
I neglected to mention that the Carter School is also the UN recognized education hub leader for the Social Development Goal 16, which is peace, justice, and strong institutions. So they are actually leading a team of universities, the Peace University, Oxford University, and a university in Central Asia, which is very difficult to pronounce. And they're all together doing some tremendous work over the next 4 years to really advance the agenda of SDG 16 through higher education. So that's another good reason that the Carter School is a great place to really connect with, because I also have the UN connection, and one of our key members in my club who will be our district governor in 2028 is Rose Cardarelli, who is the Rotary representative to UNICEF. So we have lots of UN connections, and just, I think, lots of prospects to really synergize and make things happen for peace.
Excellent. Yes, it sounds like those are some very prestigious institutes, some very prestigious designations from the UN, and all of those connections, all of those fit so well within the Rotary world. It will be great to watch this space, to see how this develops, and to be able to connect further.
Yes,
So-
absolutely.
We'll keep an eye out.
Okay, well, thank you so much. It's been a delight to talk with you, Summer.
You as well. Thank you so much.